welcome once again to Dad's Desk. This is Rusty. In the previous video, you may have wondered why I included these two commands. So let's just take a quick look at that. I'm going to come in here just as a little help and put it in a message box, just so we can kind of pause the video and see some things on the screen. And clear rows slash columns, double quote, comma, double quote, clear, double quote, and then comma, message box buttons, whoops, dot OK. Let's just scroll down to that one. There we go, close parentheses. Now, first of all, let's take this line and we'll remark out the line here. So we'll just come in, click on Start, and when I click on that, it's going to come up and say that, and it says shows everything right there. Then if I click on it again, we pause for just a moment, and it looks like we've cleared it, but you notice it cleared the rows, but the columns are still there, and it looks like they're blank. But in all actuality, if I scroll down, it left all the rows in there. We just deleted them. Now, if I take that out, and we'll remark out the columns, but put that one back in. Now let's run it again. And for a little bit, clear the columns, shows everything, and we clear the columns, but you'll notice it still leaves at least one row there before it fills it again, and we go on with that data. And so what I like to do is just use both of them so it clears the columns and the rows right off the bat. Many people have other ways of doing that. This is one that with just a couple of commands I think worked pretty well for me. Okay, this time what we want to do with our second select button is just display a couple of the fields, the ID number field and the last name field. To do that, we'll double click right here and we'll put in our documentation. This is something like uses the select statement to select only the ID number and last name fields. There we go. That'll work pretty well for us. We'll come in here, and actually what we could do, just to save ourselves a little bit of time, we'll just take everything from the first one. We'll copy all of that code. We'll highlight it. Control C to copy. Come down here and do a Control V to paste, and all we're going to do is just change this statement right here. Instead of doing a select asterisk, I'm just going to select the fields ID, IDNO, comma, I'm going to separate them out, and then last name. And well, let's make it look exact. Put a capital N just like that, and then the message box, really don't need that anymore. I could delete it, or I'll just remark it out for the time being. Okay, all right, let's see how that works for us. We'll click on Start or an F5, either one, and we'll go over and do the select fields, and there we go. It has displayed the ID number and the last name field. Now, what if I would like to put in some specific headers or something like that? Kind of, instead of saying ID no, or maybe last name, I'd like it to be last space name, or at least have the appearance of a space bar in there. In order to do that, I'll just come back here. We'll double click on this one, and we'll say uses the select statement to select only the ID number, last name, and first name fields. Let's get to the next line. With headings, not specific ones just yet. Okay, and then on this one, some people like to have things, each particular command displayed a little bit differently. We can concatenate or add to this one as we go along. We can begin with our SQL statement by saying str data source equals double quotes select. We'll get the ID number, okay, double quote, and then on the next line we can specify the exact field that we want next. So we'll say here str data source, and this time it's going to be a plus equals double quotes, and we need to have a comma. Remember, up here we had a comma and a space bar separating them, so between the two space bars, double quotes, we'll do a comma, space bar, and then the field last name. Okay, we'll come down to the next line, str data source plus equals double quotes, and again we will say comma spacebar first name. Now in this one I'm going to put a spacebar after name but before the double quotes, because on the line after this one I will say str data source plus equals, and it's going to be double quotes this time from the table. So I have to have a spacebar after the last field, no commas, and then but before the word from. Otherwise it would look for a field called first name from, and it's not first name from, it's first name and then from TBL employees. Very good. Double quotes, couple of blank lines here. And then I'll come in here, and this time I'm going to copy paste my dimension data adapter in just a moment. But again, I want to say dt.columns.clear and dt.rows.clear, open close parentheses on both of those. Then I'll just kind of come up here, grab this data right here, do a Control C to copy and a Control V to paste. And oops, and I forgot my dimension data adapter line. I missed that one. I'll go back up and get that again. Control C and come down here and Control V and paste that in. Very, very good. Now I also talked about some different headings. After I do the DT on the data source with that one, I'm going to go in here and I'll say a little with me statement, so I can kind of include some of those. On this one I'll just say dot data grid view display dot columns. Now I don't have to put them in the exact order. Let's say I want to have column 1 equals, and it's going to be equal to, or actually let's take that back out, not equals yet, column 1 dot header text equals double quotes, that is the last name field, and then dot data grid view display dot columns parentheses 2 dot header text equals double quotes first name double quote. And now I'm going to go back and get the ID number, so you'll see I don't have to do them in the exact 0, 1, 2 order. And this is going to be, well, let me get that typed in. We'll say data grid view dot columns parentheses 0 dot header text equals double quotes ID space NO. Now 0, because that's the first one. Remember, this is indexing. Indexing starts at 0, so this is the first column, the second column, and the third column. So let's see how that displays. Just run this one, and we'll click on this one, and it displays the ID number, the last name and the first name, and all of the data exactly as we wanted. Very, very good. So that's how we can be a little bit maybe better appearing on our column headings. Okay, as always, thanks for watching.